The next thing we're going to talk about is supply. Okay, forget all about being a buyer. Now you're the producer. Supply is the willingness and ability of different producers to supply goods to the market at varying prices. While we buy more things when they get cheaper, we become more willing to sell things as price increases. Let me explain that a little further. Think about typing. You all have some ability to type. So ability is taken care of. Now it's just a matter of how much people are willing to pay. As the price of those services go up, you become more and more willing to type. You know, up in here somewhere, $10 a page, lots of people will type. That's how supply works. It's the law of supply. As price increases, quantity supplied will also increase. Here again, we have a difference. Supply is the curve as a whole. This term quantity supplied, movement on the curve. So supply shifts the entire curve, where quantity supplied moves you up and down the curve. Again, look for that word price. Price is the only thing that varies quantity supplied. Again, 6 determinants of supply. First determinant of supply. And these I'm going to put in a little different order probably than your book has. The first one, technology. Then we have taxes and subsidies and factor inputs. Factor inputs are those raw material costs. See, what was the primary motivation of a seller? It's not price, it's profit. Profit has to do with revenues and costs. Your revenues will come in the form of this price. Your costs are right here. These are some of those. These 3 factors could easily be thought of just as costs. In my previous example about typing services, what I didn't tell you is that I might ask you to buy the paper, supply the ink, all these things. Would that make a difference? Yes, because it cuts into your profit. Anytime these costs go up, the supply will shift to the left. There will be less supply when costs go up. If there's a new technological advance that reduces costs, that supply curve shifts to the right. People become more willing to supply it, regardless of price, because there's less expense involved. Okay? The next one is other goods. Other goods. What this really means is what you could be doing instead of that. A prime example here would be in the agricultural markets, where you could plant either wheat or corn. If the price of wheat goes way up, what will happen to the supply of corn? It'll go down because everybody will be planting wheat instead. In my typing example, where I was paying $10 a page for typing, what if suddenly the average wage went to $30 an hour for babysitting? Another thing that all of you have the ability to do would be competing with me. And a lot of you would probably rather babysit than shifts that curve in. So it's what you could do instead of what you're doing now. Okay. Expectations again. What you think the future holds will determine to some degree what you supply. If you think things are going to get better, you may increase supply ahead of time. But your future expectations have an impact there. And the last one here is number of sellers. As the number of sellers increase, supply will also increase. We can see this very easily if we look at globalization. As more and more foreign competitors come in, you see that supply curve shift out. If, on the other hand, we decide to put an embargo on products or a quota or some kind of a tariff, some kind of a trade barrier there, supply shifts in. It shifts to the left, we've lessened supply. So again, supply can go in either direction, demand can go in either direction. Movement on the curve is only determined by price. Now something I want to point out real quick is there is a division between these two. You are a buyer or you're a seller. You are not both. They do not interact. These 6 factors here, the determinants of supply, have no impact on demand whatsoever. These 6 factors, determinants of demand, have no impact here. You have to keep those completely separate. That's how this works. The two sides do not interact at all. Hopefully, you can put yourself in that mindset to know that the two are divided and that there is no collaboration between them.